A lot of people say that there is an analogy between what Trump is doing in America now and what happened in places like Germany in the 20s and 30s.
No, right? People saying that.
I respect your opinion. I respect your opinion that you don't think it is.
Well, give me an example.
I'm not having that argument. I'm trying to make a separate point, which is if fascism scholars are saying we look at history and we make comparisons, they are scholars of fascism, and they're saying, hey, hold on, the rhetoric is very similar. The way they're operating is very similar. That is it. That, first of all, free speech, they should be allowed to say that. You used to be the free speech champion.
I am.
And then you sit there regulating everyone's speech.
I'm not regulating.
It's appalling.
I'm not regulating. No, I'm asking
you. literally just told me.
Call
it appalling.
That's not regulating what you're saying. It's asking you, can you bring it in yourself to condemn people who say he's the new Hitler?
I don't know who those people are. J.D. Vance called him the new Hitler, and he's his running mate. So take it up with J.D. Vance.
Condemn him as well.
Call him on your show.
You condemn anyone on the left who uses it too, right?
Can you pause it real quick? Yeah. I hate how Piers Morgan never stops pearl clutching about this shit, bro. He never stops pearl clutching about it. Even though he'll have on the most outrageous and extreme people to say the most outrageous and extreme things, and then he acts like calling Trump Hitler is like the most, horrific incitement to violence ever. It's going to cause a civil war. Like, bro, what are you talking about? People have always called like the presidents they don't like Hitler. People called Obama Hitler. People called George Bush Hitler. You know what I'm talking about? This is so dumb.
Not only that, but Mehdi Hasan is too fast for Piers Morgan. He's too smart for Piers Morgan, and he eats his lunch constantly. First, he's like, I didn't ask that question. We're not talking about this point. I'm telling your audience that there are countless scholars of fascism that have said this is the kind of rhetoric that fascist rulers have used historically. And then he's like, well, can you find it in your heart to condemn people who call Trump Hitler? He's like, I don't know. Ask his running mate. Like, woof.
Yep.
So
and
good.
I also think that's a good point too, that like at this point in time, people just use Hitler as like a synonym for fascist, essentially. So if you say like, oh, this person is like Hitlerian, or this person's like Hitler, it basically just means like, oh yeah, Trump's kind of a fascist. And I think most people understand that. I think most people get it. I made this joke in a previous live stream, but it's like, are we still allowed to call him Mango Mussolini? I remember when all those like cringe liberals would say shit like that when Trump first got elected. Like, okay, so I won't call him Hitler. Can I still call him Mussolini? Is that too extreme? Is that inciting violence, Piers?
Yeah, absolutely nuts.
What though?
Who says he's the new Hitler?
Those specific words, the new Hitler, yes.
Okay.
Is he speaking like Hitler? Yes, he is. Okay. And that should be condemned. Do you condemn him speaking like Hitler?
Yes.
Is that not outrage?
Of course.
He's like your pal. Why don't you tell him to stop it?
Of course.
Have you ever told him to stop quoting Hitler?
Yes, probably. I can't remember the last interview I did was before or after, but if I do again, I will. Yes, of course.
Good. Yeah. And hosting a Holocaust tonight.
A conversation everyone has to have with their friend at some point. Hey, bro, you should probably lay off on the quoting Hitler.
At Mar-a-Lago.
But yes, Nick Fuentes, absolutely.
Have you told him to stop doing that?
I said it on Twitter to him. Don't let white supremacists anywhere near you. Why are you doing that?
No, that's not condemnation. That's a question.
I think it's condemn it. It's disgusting.
It's appalling.
It's appalling.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Agreement.
You shouldn't regulate my speech.
I love when we agree.
Two Brits agreeing that something is appalling.
Appalling. I've got to clutch my pearls. Spill my tea.
Glad we can find some agreement. It's appalling.
Where's the civility? Go on.
You said Trump called for the ethnic cleansing of legal immigrants.
Yes.
In the United States. No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
No, he didn't.
What did he say?
He said he wanted to deport illegal immigrants.
No, he didn't actually.
Yes, he did.
Piers, you're wrong.
That's what he said.
Anyone.
This seems like they're doing a two-man bit, right? This is a play that they've really rehearsed, and this is like a
they
modern
even sound
spin
like the
on Waiting
same
for Godot.
Yeah.
Can play the tape after this interview. You're wrong. You should do better homework.
Ethnic cleansing is a forced expulsion.
I love your team.
Usually involving killing of members of a specific religious or ethnic group.
Hold on.
That's what ethnic cleansing
I really
is.
like your team. I deal with them a lot when I come in there. But you should talk to whoever did your research because that's wrong. You know what he said? Go watch the clip. It's on tape. He said, we've got to get rid of them from Springfield.
Yeah.
Who are the people in Springfield? Haitians. They are not illegal immigrants.
So it's interesting, Springfield.
Hold on. No, don't jump around. You just got something wrong.
I'm going to mention Springfield. I didn't say it wrong.
No, you did. We could play the tape back. He said.
I love how he just clobbers him. One, Mehdi is so assured of himself and he's so comfortable in every environment. And to Pierce's credit, he doesn't ever get too stirred up. And yeah, British people arguing is peak content because this is as riled up as they'll get. They'll be like, no, Piers, don't cut me off. I haven't cut you off. I'm trying to clarify a few things. No, admit you were wrong. You were wrong.
Said illegal immigrants. That's not true. He said Haitians should be. You've got to get rid of them.
You said, Mehdi. Let me just go.
No. You said.
Hang on. Let me clarify.
Clarify what
you said. Is calling for the ethnic.
It is a policy. It's a phrase on Twitter. If you're going to police my tweets, then fine.
Well, you said that Trump has called for the ethnic cleansing
Yes,
of
the
legal immigrants.
violent, forcible removal of legal immigrants, I think, is a form of ethnic cleansing.
That's not his position.
But his
position is that there should be mass deportation of illegal.
Wrong. The clip is online. Everybody,
You're
I don't know what camera
conflating
to look
different
at.
things.
No, you are, because my tweet was over that clip. So anyone can go look. You guys got it wrong. I looked at a clip of him saying, "You've got to get rid of them."
That's ridiculous from Piers Morgan. Obviously, Trump is painting with a broad brush. Obviously, when Trump is talking about immigrants, he's not just talking about illegal immigrants. No, and that was clearly proven by the whole "they're eating the dogs" Haiti episode. That was clearly proven. Mehdi is 100% right. Trump, JD Vance, they wouldn't be bringing up these legal Haitian immigrants if their problem was only with illegal immigrants, which, by the way, obviously it goes without saying, are still human beings that deserve to live with respect and safety, et cetera, et cetera. But still, even if it was just illegal immigrants, why are you starting a pogrom against the Haitian community in Ohio that's here legally? That's proof that, yeah, of course, Trump is just against immigrants in general. He's a xenophobe. And absolutely, where does that lead? Ethnic cleansing. Where does that lead? Genocidal policies. 100%.
And why else would the Haitian immigrants and the fellow good citizens of Springfield, Ohio, who want to clear their name and stick up for their fellow community members, have tried to bring hate crime charges against both Donald Trump and JD Vance for the fear mongering and the hateful rhetoric that's incited violence against good people of Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield,
different story. Different thing.
But that's what I'm tweeting about, Piers. You don't get to
that's not
misrepresent
what he's
my tweets.
talking about with the mass deportation.
Yes, he is. He was talking about Springfield.
No,
he said
wasn't.
Springfield.
No, he talked.
Have you watched the clip?
Yes, I've watched many clips.
But the clip that my tweet is on.
Well, you're
wrong, Piers. I get it. You can back down.
So you think he wants ethnic cleansing of Haitians?
What he wants. I don't try and get inside a madman's head.
You call that ethnic cleansing?
I don't try.
If he tries to violently,
he wants to kill them.
Can I finish a sentence? If he wants to violently remove legal immigrants from their homes, yeah, I think that's a form of ethnic cleansing. Yes, based on their ethnicity or identity, 100%.
Do you think it's right in Springfield?
Do you think it's right to call for the deportation of legal immigrants? No, you cut me off.
Can I get a word in?
It is technically my show.
And you misrepresented my tweet, which you haven't corrected yet. My tweet was in reference to legal immigrants. You said illegal. So you should walk that back. You said it to all your viewers. That was wrong.
But you said that he effectively has a policy.
No, I said, no, Piers, don't misrepresent.
Is it a policy?
I said, in this clip, he's calling for the ethnic cleansing. It's a quote above a clip. It's a quote tweet. You should check your tweets when you put them in your document.
Do you think I like your team, but they've f***ed up miserably, and I'm not going to get off this until you...
Also, this is crazy. Like, so Piers Morgan has an issue with Mehdi Hasan pointing out the fascist rhetoric, but he clearly doesn't have a problem with the fascist rhetoric itself. So he's so concerned with the effects that words have, unless they're Donald Trump's words. Like, you don't think Donald Trump's lies about the Haitian community, you don't think that's going to lead to more violence than Mehdi Hasan turning around and calling it a call for ethnic cleansing? Like, even if you want to say that's hyperbolic, even if you want to say, all right, I don't think Trump's literally calling for the ethnic cleansing of Haitians in Ohio. Okay, fair enough. I still think it's fair to say his inflammatory lies on the subject matter create far more dangerous conditions for actual human beings than anyone in political commentary turning around and then saying it's a call for ethnic cleansing.
That's what he's doing, though. Ethnic
yes,
cleansing.
If he's calling for the deportation of legal immigrants based on their ethnicity, yes.
Do you think
he's called it a bloody operation? You okay with 14 million people being violently removed from their homes?
Are you?
4 million American children losing
let me
their
ask
parents?
you a question.
It's outrageous.
Are you okay with the situation on the southern border with so many illegal people coming in illegally?
With so many illegal people coming in illegally. There's illegals. They're against the law. They're lawless. They're criminals. They're coming in against the law, lawlessly. The illegals. That's how they're coming in without the law's consent.
So presumably you're a legal migrant to America.
Yes, I am.
Right. So everyone has gone through the process like you.
But whether you're legal or undocumented, you shouldn't be violently removed. And by the way,
and let's not pretend that Mehdi had the same circumstances as the desperate people coming from Costa Rica, Ecuador, different parts of Mexico, southern portions of Central America, etc. Of course not. These are desperate people. These are people willing to risk, heat stroke, dehydration, death. Okay. it's not the same as like, oh, I think my media career would blossom in America. I'm not saying, Mehdi didn't have perfectly justified and wonderful reasons. I think anybody should be able to come to America. I welcome immigration. I think it built this country. I think it strengthens this country. And I think just about everything good that we have about this country is a byproduct of, the cultural differences amongst us, right? That we're not so deeply homogenized. We actually have a heterodox society. And I think that strengthens us. I think that's like woven fabric. But to say that it's the same every circumstance, legal immigration is the same as illegal immigration. Typically, the people who can immigrate here legally are people with financial resources, right? The reason that we make it illegal for other folks to come in is because we don't feel like we can make any money off of them. We can't tax them. We can't, do X, Y, and Z to profiteer from them.
The southern border situation is a very complicated situation. It's been going on for years. Multiple presidents, multiple parties. There's no easy
But you would
fix.
concede under the Democrats it's been a fiasco.
No. Why
Come
would I
on.
concede that?
Really? The numbers in the last 3.5 years?
And they were really bad under George Bush, if we go back. I mean, it's
Who
a
was the
multi-part.
biggest-
It's a multi. To make this into a party thing is ridiculous. In fact, last time I came on your show, you tried to do a gotcha on me and said Obama was the deporter.
Yeah, he
in chief.
was.
So clearly, Democrats aren't bad. They're on your side. They're deporters.
On that,
You can't have it both ways.
interesting you
Piers.
raise the Obama thing.
You
because
can't have it both ways, can you?
when Obama
Can you?
deported 3 million migrants, presumably then was he ethnically cleansing them?
If they were undocumented, that's very different, isn't it? You're legally look again to go back to our discussion about Israel Hamas.
So is ethnic cleansing
hold on,
if Trump's doing
now
it?
who's cutting me off?
If-
Something can be
If
legal.
Trump's doing it, it's ethnic cleansing.
Nope.
If Obama's doing it, it's perfectly okay.
I'm well known for speaking
Okay,
a lot.
and
I can say my
pause it
own
one
words.
more
You don't
time.
have to put words in my
I
mouth.
I do see Piers' point here, and I don't think that anyone should be defending Obama's record as far as the border. He
Deporter
was
in
the
chief.
deporter in chief, absolutely. We're incredibly critical of Obama specifically for that reason, among other reasons. But I do think it's fair to say there's a difference between like deporting people, which is bad, and deporting people in addition to creating a nationwide panic. A literal like moral panic over the existence of immigrants, because you can't say that Obama did that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I totally disagree with the deportations that happened, but it's not like he created a nationwide like furor over it.
Over people who came here legally, by the way, which I think was the other bedrock of Mehdi's point, the specific reference to the Haitian migrants. Those were people with visas. Those were people who had filled out the paperwork. Those were people who had come to this country legally with sponsorship of whatever kind. And he was still calling for getting them out of here, which was, I think, the bottom line of Mehdi's point about, the ethnic cleansing. But I totally agree. Let's never soften Obama's reputation. He was cruel for 8 years as president.
Yeah.
I'm saying what I said earlier about Israel, you can do something that's legal, but I still think it's wrong. So what Obama did was legal, right? He didn't break any laws. He was entitled to deport, but I thought it was wrong, unwise, unhelpful, counterproductive, unfair. That's a different argument. What Trump would be doing is taking people who are here legally and suggesting that they get out. When they go after 14 million people, Piers, you're a very experienced journalist. You've covered many political issues around the world. There's no scenario in which the American bureaucracy goes house to house to look for 14 million people and doesn't end up getting innocent people, green card holders, legal immigrants, just people who look brown or have a Spanish name and getting them as well. You know this. It's going to be a disaster, Piers. So next time you talk to your pals, tell them not to do it.
On Springfield, do you think it's...
I think what happened in Springfield is outrageous. If you condemn the incitement of violence there by Trump. New Hitler. He shut down an entire town, 30 bomb threats.
Actually,
it's disgusting.
There weren't 30 bomb threats.
And it turned out
that's
what the local authorities
all the
said.
bomb threats, all of them came from what they now believe were bots and pranksters. And all of them. And nothing to do with Trump.
Nothing to do with Trump. So why did it happen? Why did it happen straight after we spoke?
The mayor has said, actually, it turned out these were not inspired by Trump.
You know what the mayor said? He said Trump's words are harming us. That's what he said. He's harming our community.
I tell you what does harm
Why don't you condemn that, Piers?
Can I please ask you a question about Springfield? I have condemned the ridiculous Haitian migrants reading cats and dogs without any evidence.
It's not just ridiculous.
You missed the part where Piers let everyone know that actually those bomb threats were all just the result of bots and pranksters, and you can't actually blame Trump for any of that.
It's wrong. There is a wider and more interesting and nuanced debate to be had, which unfortunately got completely destroyed by the cats and dogs bullshit. Which is this: when you put into a place like Springfield, I had this with Vivek Ramaswamy, who's from that area. Yeah. When you suddenly change the makeup of that town by putting 20%,
it's like Sagar talking again. I'm like, bro, you are just letting everybody know you are a racist. You don't want different races or demographic changes coming to your neighborhood. Like right now, I live in what was at one point an Irish Catholic neighborhood. When I wake up in the morning, I hear Catholic church bells, okay? Every fire hydrant in my neighborhood is painted like the Italian flag, except for one, somebody painted like the Vietnamese flag, because recently it's become more of a Vietnamese neighborhood. Does anybody have a problem with that? No. We have two of the best restaurants in Kansas City. They're both Vietnamese restaurants, and we have one of the best Italian restaurants in Kansas City, and they're all a stone's throw from my block.
Haitians in that case. I've seen lots of people in the area say the Haitians have been great for working and economy and so on. Great. But it also brings with it, as we've seen in the UK, when you radically change the makeup of towns, it can have a real effect on what that town is for people, on the effect on infrastructure, and the effect on schools and hospitals, et cetera, et cetera. Do you accept that this has to be handled carefully?
Yes.
But actually putting 20% of the population into somewhere like Springfield inherently is a very tricky scenario.
So this is what worries me about you, Piers, because you ask good questions.
It's funny too, because like, you know, sometimes we'll talk about like demographic shifts in Texas. Maybe Texas is gonna go blue this year because all these white people from California are moving there. You don't think that's demographic change? You know, who originally lived in Texas? Not people that look like me. It's like people that are, you know, mostly Hispanic, right?
I mean, Texas was Mexico.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's a demographic change. A bunch of white people moving into Texas, moving into Austin. You don't think that brings the rent up? You don't think that leads to gentrification? We talk about stuff like that all the time. But guess what? That's just part of life. Again, I mean, we can definitely curb issues like gentrification and stuff. But when it comes to just demographic change, like, yeah, sorry.
You have these important discussions, but the framing, and my friend Brian Tyler Cohen said this to you a couple of days ago, your framing is very right-wing.
Why?
So when you say,
why is it right-wing?
I'm telling you. You said twice there, they put 20,000. Who put them? Nobody put 20,000 people there. They went there voluntarily. They went there at the invitation of the local town. Do you know the local town put an ad in a paper saying, please come to our town. It's in decline. We need labor. And they went and they helped the town. And the local factory managers and the local mayor of all, as you say, they've all come out and praised them. I actually find uncomfortable that rhetoric because I think immigrants should be valued regardless whether they're hard workers. But look, people have come and said they're hard workers. They attend the local church. They're integrated in the town. There hasn't been a crime wave associated with it. When JD Vance uses, and here we go, Nazi-like rhetoric and says they're bringing disease, which is what Stürmer used to say about Jewish people.
Bro, not only bringing disease, Donald Trump straight up out here talking about how they're coming to rape your women. They're coming to assault you. They're coming to hurt you. That rhetoric right there was the closest I've seen to somebody inciting a lynching in my entire lifetime from a major party candidate. It was absolutely insane to behold. And that's where the pearl clutching belongs. That's where this is unacceptable. This is uncalled for. This is, you know, deeply outside the realm of reasonable discourse. Shame on you, Donald Trump. But we don't hear that from Piers. We don't see him doing that in big bold letters, talking about how it's unconscionable. No, it's worth a brush off. Of course I disagree with that. It's appalling. Okay, great. And now I'm going back to talking about how I'm going to indulge in every single one of his political points.
Yeah, I find that horrible. And who put 20,000 people? Nobody put 20,000 people there. They went there for jobs. Does that cause unease? I'm sure it does. Does it radically transform a neighborhood? I'm sure it does. Should the federal government and state government be helping communities that are dealing with migrant influx? Of course they should. I'm on the left, Piers. I want higher taxes, more government spending. You're going after the wrong guy. I want more infrastructure.
Actually, I wasn't going after you. I was just asking you.
No, we agree.
Oh, exactly.
You and I both agree there should be better infrastructure. The federal government should support these areas.
And better help with the integration process.
Better help with the integrate. Dude, Piers thinks it's 1969 and we need to send the National Guard down to Springfield to make sure that, you know, that
we need to send the National Guard to protect the Haitians from all these racist white people.
I mean, I hope that that's not necessary. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that was pretty much the end of the like juiciness between Piers and Mehdi that I wanted to get to today.